Alright guys, what is going on today? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to talk about Boruto leaving the village, and he will be branded a rogue ninja, but in his own way, but he will leave the village with Code. Code will not take Kawaki, and I'll explain that very soon. So first off, I'm going to talk about chapter 63. Now, I'm assuming most of you have read chapter 63, and it's some good stuff. Real good stuff we see in this chapter. So it literally starts off from the end of chapter 62 when Boruto arrives and saves Kawaki. Now, Kawaki was telling Boruto, he's like, I want to go on my own free will. He's like, I want to avoid bringing anyone here from Naruto, Sasuke, everybody, so Code doesn't hurt them or kill them. So he's like, I'm willing to give myself up to save Naruto. And Boruto disagrees. Boruto's like, bro, I'm not gonna let you do that. He's like, I'm gonna save you. He's like, as much as you want to save dad, I'm gonna save you instead. Kawaki's like, yo, stop this nonsense. Kawaki's like, I'm gonna go with Code and I'm gonna finish this all. Since it looks like Code does not look like he intends to kill me. He's like, I'll talk to the master of Code, which is basically Ida. Because Kawaki says to Code, he's like, it looks like somebody has influence over you. Otherwise, you would have been killing me. Which Code's like, that's smart. So if you look at it, that does mean that Code is basically bending over for Ida. No matter what she says, he will do because she has the power over him. Her powers are still need to be explained a bit more, in my opinion. Boruto then punches Kawaki right in the face, and Code is surprised. Code's like, whoa, you know, because Code hates Kawaki, and he's like, yo, bun that guy, bro, knock him out. So then Boruto gives a quick 1-2 to Kawaki, and Kawaki gets down on the ground, and then the fight between Code and Boruto breaks out. Boruto tries Rasengan in Code. He tries fighting him, even with the karma, and Code is not even phased. This guy's just chilling there, blocks all of the attacks, and he's surprised when Boruto transformed himself into a shuriken and threw himself at Code, and all his attacks fail. And Code literally jumps around with his belt. So his belt thing is pretty quick. The only way to beat Code is to know when he will pop in and out. For example, with Urashiki and the portals opening, Boruto's jougan noticed when the portals were about to open. I think it's the same thing here, where if the jougan does come into play, Boruto will be able to see where Code is going to pop out from before he even does. So the jougan may give an advantage, if it's ever shown, to see where Code is going to pop out from, so you can attack him then and there. So then Code activates his white karma, and Boruto is completely surprised. Like, Boruto is shook. Man's like, white karma, what? So then Code walks up to him in some John Wick style, like literally walks up to him and boom, gives him a 1-2 as well, right in the chin. And man gets knocked down, bro. Man gets knocked. And even Kawaki notices too, that one punch and this man's done. So that's how you know the white karma is hella strong. So then Code talks about the true essence of the karma. He says that Boruto is not using the full strength of the karma or the full abilities of the karma. He's still an amateur in it. Code goes on to explain that all the experience the Otsutsuki have gathered over the millennia has all been converted into the karma. So when Boruto uses the karma, he gets all of Momoshiki's experience. All that experience goes to Boruto, which is why Boruto's abilities get amped up crazy. And even Naruto noticed that as well during their fight. Naruto notices that Boruto gets stronger with the karma being activated. So this goes back to when Kawaki fought Garo. He literally took out Garo as soon as his karma activated because all of Ishiki's experience went to Kawaki. So then going back to Code, Code's like, bro, give me a challenge. He's like, bring me the real power of Momoshiki Otsutsuki. So then he kicks Boruto a couple of times, and right at the last kick when he's about to stomp on Boruto is when Momoshiki appears, or borushiki appears, and the chapter ends there, and Ida and everybody knows. Now the part here that's tricky is the form Boruto is using. Now when Code says bring out the full power of Momoshiki, show it to me, you can kind of tell that Boruto is kind of thinking about it. So I think when Boruto transforms into that new borushiki form, he's actually using Momoshiki's full power, which gives him Momoshiki's byakugan, which is why the byakugan kind of looks blind. So in reality, that's not Momoshiki, that's probably Boruto using Momoshiki's power. So that's half of borushiki. The reason why I say it's not borushiki is because the horn is not there. Now if the horn was there, then I'm assuming that'll be Momoshiki taking control. When Code says, oh, this is it, here we go, it looks like he was hinting to Boruto to use the full power of the karma, which Boruto finally does use the full power, which is why his form is different, which is why he has all of Momoshiki's abilities of instantly moving, on top of that having the right byakugan, on top of that having the rings around his finger. Back in episode 208 and episode 218, we see the blue karma when Momoshiki's in control. Then in episode 1 and chapter 1, we see a blue karma again. That means Boruto is using all of Momoshiki's powers. I think it's the same thing here. When he uses Momoshiki's full powers, his actual karma goes blue instead of black. Now the same thing could be said for Code. Code's karma goes white. All right, there has to be, I think, an explanation behind the coloring for the karma to change its color. So that form right there, I think, is Boruto using Momoshiki's full powers, not borushiki. Then again, I could be wrong on that. It could be borushiki, but we'll find out in the next chapter if it is borushiki or not. Now getting on to the theory, Code will take Boruto, or Boruto will willingly go with Code. Now before we get into that, I just want to point out that I think Boruto is gonna cut his own eye. So if that is Momoshiki who's come out and is controlling controlling half of Boruto right now, I think Boruto will stab his own eye or cut his own eye to stop Momoshiki from interfering. If there is no horn, that means Boruto can't snap Momoshiki back out, because this form shows no horn at all. So the only way to take Momoshiki out, I think Boruto will stab his own eye or cut his own eye to make Momoshiki go back to sleep, which might lead to his eye getting cut, which to me does make sense, because I did point out some time ago that Boruto will stab his own eye to stop Momoshiki or stop himself from transforming. So it's a possibility. Or Kawaki cuts Boruto's eye. If that is borushiki controlling Boruto, Kawaki tries stopping borushiki from going out of control and does cut his right eye to stop him. Now getting on to the theory. Like I said, this is the most craziest theory I have thought of, I've ever done.
Now, me and somebody else did talk about this theory in the comment sections, but I decided to expand more on this theory.
Now, basically, Boruto will leave with Code. Code will not leave empty-handed. So after Boruto fights Code in the new borushiki form, Code or Kawaki will slash his eye to stop the power of Momoshiki. Code then tells Boruto he can train him and teach him about his karma. Now, the reason why I say Code is going to train or teach Boruto is the fact that Code says that he worships the Otsuzukis. And in this chapter, he says he respects Boruto because he is almost an Otsutsuki. So it hurts him to have to feed Boruto to the tree. That's why I say Code will probably take Boruto instead of Kawaki.
But the main reason why
Code will take Boruto is because of Ida. It looks like Ida might have a change of heart when it comes to Kawaki and Boruto and who will be her new knight. Because she was a bit flustered when Boruto says to Kawaki, bro, I'll protect you. She says, bro, that's so hot, alright? Ida over here fangirling over Boruto and Kawaki. So I think Ida will have a change of heart and go with Boruto because he has a better personality and she might like that personality instead of Kawaki. I know she was blushing when Kawaki said he wants to meet this certain person. Her heart was thumping. I think Ida will change her response and will tell Code to bring back Boruto instead. The reason why Code will bring back Boruto is the fact that Kawaki says this person has an influence over Code. So Code will listen to Ida no matter what. That means he will not go against her will. Like I said, they gotta explain her powers a bit more, but I think Ida will tell Code, she's like, bring that boy instead and do whatever you want to Kawaki. So then Kawaki gets beat up and everything. Boruto's down on the ground after he fights Code using his full karma powers and maybe even cutting his own eye. His body's in shock, so he's watching the fight break out. Now with Boruto leaving, there's two ways to fully look at this. First is that Boruto goes willingly, where he sees Kawaki getting beat up and almost maybe killed by Code. I know Code won't kill him, but you know, he may beat him up to the point where he's gonna be near death. That Boruto tells Code, he's like, stop it, take me instead. So, you know, he sacrifices himself willingly so that he doesn't hurt anybody. Ida tells Code to agree to Boruto's wishes because now she likes Boruto, and Boruto goes with Code. Because Boruto says, I will protect you to Kawaki or I will save you. So I think they're hinting that he sacrifices himself up to save his own brother. Since Boruto will do anything to save Himawari, he probably will go to the same lengths to save Kawaki. And then Code lets Kawaki go. The second being Boruto gets forcefully taken. So if Naruto, Sasuke, and them do come after Ino finds where Boruto is, I think Code will disappear and he will take Boruto with him. If Boruto's down on the ground and his body's in shock, he'll forcefully take Boruto and he'll take him inside his belt and he'll disappear. That's it. Boruto is gone and Kawaki will be out there. So Boruto then leaves with Code and, like I said, either forcefully or willingly to save Kawaki. Kawaki then tries to stop them, but he can't, and Boruto says goodbye just at the moment before he leaves. Kawaki tries to tell everyone that Boruto did try to save him and no one listens. At this point, they say Boruto is a rogue or a threat to the world since he just left with Code, so he's an enemy now.
And now Code could use him to feed him to the 10 tails and make the chakra fruit. So now everyone is really worried. They did not want Kawaki or Boruto leaving the village.
For this reason, since the 10 tails will come out, it'll be the 4th Shinobi War all over again. And this scares everybody. So now Boruto is branded as the enemy. Now here's the best part. When Boruto gets back to the hideout, either forcefully or willingly, Code tells him that he's lucky that she wants him alive. So Code then tells Boruto on how he can train him and make him control Momoshiki and the karma to its fullest.
He'll only teach him out of respect because he's an Otsutsuki and the fact that he doesn't need to kill him anymore since he'll be with Ida. Code also knows that Boruto can't take him on, so he knows he is stronger than Boruto.
Now Boruto will only agree since this is the best decision. So there's two reasons why I think Boruto will use this opportunity. The first being that Boruto won't transform if Code is there and Code can keep him in check, since Momoshiki knows he can't take Code on, so he won't bother trying to control Boruto and possibly dying by Code. The second reason being that Boruto knows he's not a threat to anyone, and if he is a threat to anyone, then that is Code, Ida, and Damon. They are the enemies. So Boruto knows that he can't attack the village, he can't attack anyone dear to him, which he was scared that he will attack somebody close to him if he ever does transform into Momoshiki.
So Boruto will probably make a deal with Ida to allow him to stay with her as long as Code doesn't attack the village, Kawaki, Naruto, or Sasuke.
In my opinion, Boruto becomes a new Itachi and works in the shadows for himself and the village's best interest, since he won't be a threat anymore. Even if he transforms, he won't hurt anyone dear to him, which he feared would happen. So anyways, it gets even better from here. here. This is the time skip. This is how they're gonna play it. They're gonna say that Ida will tell Code that Boruto is only 80% Otsutsuki, and it will take him 3 years to become a full Otsutsuki. Reason 3 years is that the pills Boruto is taking, which they hinted in episode 220 to slow down the rate of transformation of the karma or the evolution of the karma over time, will slow down Boruto's transformation into an Otsutsuki. Now I can back that up because Amado gave Kawaki the pills over the years and he finally hit 80 to 90% while Boruto hit it in less than a year. Amado says he gave Kawaki very small dosages while Boruto is taking full dosages. So all of Boruto's karma write-up is slowly being written, unlike before. So if it took Kawaki years to become 80%, then it will be the same thing here with Boruto. It will take a couple of years for him to become a full Otsutsuki. So Ida tells Code that it will take him 3 years, and Boruto here plans this out that he will give himself up for 3 years as long as they don't hurt the village or Code doesn't attack anyone. And Code has no choice but to agree since Ida has influence over him.
That influence being that she has Code's heart and Code cannot do anything to her but accept her orders.
Ida agrees to Boruto's wishes. Ida tells Code to calm down and he can't do anything. He gets even more pissed and awakens Damon. Ida was smart for bringing Damon out because she knows that if Code tries attacking, Damon can reflect all of Code's attacks back right at him, which is why she brought out Damon. So she was smart in planning this out too. And she stops Damon from telling Code on what his abilities are. There's a reason why she says to Damon, quiet down. Don't tell all your abilities right off the bat. So she was planning some stuff way ahead of everybody. So then Code has no choice but to keep Boruto there. So if Code does respect Boruto and he sees him suffering because he's an Otsutsuki, then he will train Boruto. And Boruto will agree to stay with Ida and everybody as long as Code does not do anything. So this is the time skip. Everything here will happen just right at the time skip, and then we'll come back to Boruto in the future. So now at this point, 3 years will have passed and Boruto will be 15 to 16 years old. The story then follows Kawaki with Team 7 during the time skip and after the time skip. And I think they're gonna encounter Boruto throughout the series since Boruto will be branded a rogue ninja.
So for this reason, he gives up his headband and considers himself no longer a ninja. Up until the events that happened in chapter 1 and episode 1, he considers himself a ninja again. So this goes back to my opening 7 video where I talk about Boruto and Kawaki, and that Kawaki will take everything away from Boruto in terms of his family, friends, team, everything. He'll take everything Boruto has and they basically switch places. Even Boruto has the karma now and Kawaki doesn't. Kawaki will be considered a normal person now.
But I think Kawaki will get his new karma from Amado since he saw the power Code has and he knows that the karma will boost all his abilities since Code mentions the essence of the karma. So Kawaki knows and he wants that power to save Boruto. Now going back to Kawaki after Boruto left, he's probably pissed and at this point everyone is saying Boruto's a traitor. And Kawaki goes to Amado to get his new karma and Kawaki will want to bring Boruto back and he will get the power to defeat Code.
So this will be a Naruto and Sasuke 2.0. How Sasuke left the village and Naruto got stronger to bring him back. It will be the same thing here where Boruto leaves the village and Kawaki will get the power of karma, which will allow him to access all of Ishiki's experience and he will use that power to bring Boruto back.
Now there's 2 ways Kawaki is going to play this out. First, Kawaki will train with the karma. The second being that Kawaki will destroy the village in the future. Now I'm not sure how he'll go about to turning to that point, but what I think is that Kawaki will call back Boruto to the village, which is why the stone faces in episode 1 have a hidden writing on them. I didn't know there was a hidden writing on them until afterwards, and the hidden writing says I will be waiting. So I think Kawaki destroys the village to bring Boruto back, and he knows that if Boruto comes back, Code will then hurt everybody, which is why Kawaki sends Naruto and everybody away, which goes back to episode 1 and chapter 1 when Kawaki says to Boruto, he's like, the age of shinobi is over, and he's like, I'll send you where I sent the 7th Hokage. So Kawaki now having all of Ishiki's powers, he will send Boruto to where Naruto and them are. So he'll send him to a safe haven and Kawaki will then fight Code. But Boruto disagrees with this decision. So at the ending of the battle, I think is when Kawaki gets defeated by Boruto. And Boruto almost being Otsutsuki, he beats Kawaki to make him understand that he can't return. And in the end, Boruto will lose everything. Because if they find a way to suppress Momoshiki and Boruto does happen to become 100% by the time he's 16 years old or whatever, then he will have no choice but to either kill himself or have himself fed to the 10 tails. So Kawaki gets stronger to maybe take on Code. So it may come down to Boruto telling Kawaki to kill him at the end after Boruto returns to the village, because Boruto will have no choice but to give himself up since he's almost at 100% Otsutsuki. And the reason why it's 100% almost then is because the effects of the pills over the time have been adding up. I'm not sure what will happen after that, but I think Kawaki will kill Boruto, and the way they're gonna fix everything is the time travel turtle. Kawaki will get that time travel turtle and will go back in time to the point where Boruto can save himself using Momoshiki's abilities. So they'll go to the point where Boruto is at the village and he's about to fight Kawaki, and I think Kawaki will tell Boruto to transfer Momoshiki's karma to somebody else, which might happen, but then again, it's all theory. Now I do think the time skip will happen by December to February. The reason I say that is because Boruto has a super stage this year around December. So if these 2 chapters lead up to the final fight of part 1, then most likely Boruto will leave with Code and they'll end off Boruto right here. And then right after the New Year's, in the new chapter, we'll see a time skip version of everybody. Which, like I said, does make more sense because the manga is at the time skip point. And this is the perfect time to jump into the time skip is when Boruto gets branded a rogue for leaving with Code. And this works out perfectly because if Boruto has nobody who can keep Momoshiki in check or even train him on his karma, then the best person is Code. So I think Boruto will leave with Code in chapter maybe 64 to 65, maybe 66 to 67 will be the time skip. And the anime will follow right after that. Since the anime is almost there and there was an idea somewhere that the anime will end in 248 episodes or so. So the way it's gonna go down now is the tuning exams happen and around maybe episode 235 to 240, they might do the final parts of the Code arc and then boom, we go into time skip by episode 250s and then it starts off the time skip. So this is what I'm predicting. This is how I think it's gonna go down. I know this is a crazy theory. Now I'm not sure if this is gonna work or not, but I think it will happen. I think Boruto will go with Code and it's the best option. So let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos to come.